We all know who Nikola Jokic is by now, the quiet superstar from the small Serbian town of Sombor, who's taken the NBA by storm. Drafted 41st overall back in 2014 by the Denver Nuggets, Jokic has gone from a second-round sleeper pick to one of the most dominant and unique players in the league today. Jokic's game is like no other. He's got a surgeon's precision with his passing, a craftsman's footwork in the post, and a feather-soft shooting touch. He doesn't rely on speed or power. He relies on skill, vision, and basketball IQ. While some former NBA players have questioned his style, there are many legends who recognize just how special he truly is. One of those legends, Hakeem Olajuwon, known as one of the greatest big men in NBA history. The Dream didn't just dominate with size. He used intelligence, timing, and finesse. And when he watches Jokic, he sees a kindred spirit. He doesn't look strong, Olajuwon once said, but he gets deep position every time, even against bigger defenders. His shot fakes are impossible to read. You don't know when he's going to shoot or fake. He's full of tricks. It's high praise coming from a Hall of Famer who made a career out of dazzling footwork and touch around the rim. If anyone understands what it takes to master the post without brute force, it's Hakeem. And he's not the only one. Two-time NBA MVP and former Brooklyn Nets head coach Steve Nash also tipped his cap to Jokic during the 2021-22 season. When asked about the MVP race, Nash didn't hesitate. Clearly, Jokic is the MVP. He's basically gone wire to wire this season. That kind of consistency, dominance, and versatility doesn't go unnoticed by basketball minds like Nash. From passing, to scoring, to rebounding, Jokic does it. Olan makes it look easy while doing it. At the highest level of basketball, making your teammates better is what separates stars from superstars. And Nikola Jokic does exactly that. Even when the Nuggets lost Jamal Murray to injury, they didn't miss a beat. That alone speaks volumes about Jokic's impact. He's not just a great passer, he's a willing and contagious one. Jokic doesn't always go for the flashy assist. Sometimes, it's the hockey assist, the smart read, that leads to the ball swinging once, maybe twice, before someone knocks down an open shot. That kind of unselfishness sparks a rhythm across the entire team. He sets the tone. He knocks down that first domino. It reminds many of another MVP-caliber playmaker, Steve Nash. In the 2000s, Nash's MVP wins stirred plenty of debate, just like Jokic's awards have today. But no matter the chatter, the skill, the vision, and the leadership speak louder than the critics ever could. Both Nash and Jokic elevated everyone around them, and both are considered among the greatest to ever play their positions. And then there's Steve Kerr, Golden State Warriors coach, who's seen his share of greatness up close. He's faced Jokic and knows just how dangerous he can be. Kerr didn't need many words to sum it up. He's everybody's kryptonite. He's a two-time MVP for a reason. The guy's phenomenal. He just makes the game easier for everyone. Kerr also tipped his hat to the Nuggets organization, crediting them for building a roster and identity around their unconventional star. But in the end, he kept it simple. Jokic is Jokic. I don't know if any team has figured out how to slow him down. And he's not the only one who's taken notice. Gilbert Arenas, aka Agent Zaranever, shies away from bold takes, especially when it comes to today's NBA. Unlike some old-school voices, Arenas embraces the modern game, giving flowers to the stars who truly deserve it. And when it comes to Nikola Jokic, he doesn't hold back to him. Jokic isn't just a great player, he's one of the greatest draft steals in NBA history. This is a hot take, Arenas admitted, but Joker is the best draft pick since Michael Jordan in 1984. Now, let that sink in. Arenas isn't talking about impact alone, he's talking value. LeBron James, sure, he was the #1 pick, expected to dominate Michael Jordan. The third pick in '84, still a slight underestimation. In hindsight, but he was the 41st overall pick, a second rounder, a guy many teams passed on twice, and he's now playing like a #1 overall pick. That, Arenas says, is what makes him historically special. Two-time MVP, soon to be four-time, All-NBA. Those numbers make him the second best draft pick ever, based on expectations versus output. And that kind of impact resonates far beyond the NBA. Just ask Tony Kukoc, former Chicago Bulls star, and a fellow product of the Yugoslavian basketball system. Kukoc, like Jokic, was a guard in a big man's body, smooth handle, sharp passing, and buckets from all over the floor. Back in Europe, Kukoc dominated with Jugoplastika, winning everything from league titles to international trophies before becoming an essential piece of the Bulls' second 3-Pete. Sound familiar? That blend of size, skill, and basketball IQ has become something of a European signature, and Jokic is carrying that tradition into the modern era, only on a level we've never seen before. Tony Kukoc may have taken on a more supporting role during his time with the Bulls, but make no mistake, he was crucial to their dynasty. In Chicago, Kukoc played behind legends like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, yet still left his mark with his versatility and high basketball IQ. Jokic, on the other hand, has been handed the keys to the franchise and he's running with them. Unlike players who view leadership as a burden, Jokic embraces it. He competes with joy, not ego. And as Kukoc puts it, that's the beauty of Jokic's game. All the stuff that nobody sees it translates on the court, Kukoc said. He has a lot of influence on the game. His vision seeing what's happening before anyone else makes him a great basketball player. And that greatness hasn't gone unnoticed by today's top analysts. Take Yolan Rose, for example. Sure, some fans might still remember him as the guy Kobe dropped 81 on, but don't let that define his legacy. Yolan had a strong NBA career, contributing meaningfully across multiple teams. Today, he's a respected voice on ESPN and a dedicated community leader. And when it comes to Nikola Jokic, Yolan isn't afraid to go against the grain. He's been loud in his support for Jokic's MVP campaign, especially the historic push for a three-peat. "You can't ignore what the Joker's doing," Rose said. "Only two players in NBA history, Bill Russell and Larry Bird, have won MVP 3 times in a row. That's the company Jokic is approaching. And if you're watching him night in and night out, it's getting harder and harder to argue against it. And that's where things get messy." JALEN, Rose pointed out something fans and analysts have debated for years. The MVP award often becomes more about narrative than actual performance. It turns into a popularity contest, or a question of who hasn't won it yet, rather than who's truly the most valuable. So what ends up happening, Rose explained, is it becomes an award about storyline, about perception, doing the most, with the least having a historic year and the right media moment. By the time Jokic had won back-to-back MVPs, the conversation had already shifted. Who else deserves a shot? But the numbers? They never stopped backing Jokic. Denver sat at no one in the West. Jokic was flirting with a triple-double as a center, and not just padding stats, he was putting up 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists per game, while shooting 60% from the field and nearly 40% from three. That's not just rare, it's historic. JJ Redick, now a respected analyst on ESPN, couldn't ignore it either. Known for his sharp mind and deep dive into analytics, JJ has become one of Jokic's most vocal supporters, and he brought receipts. Over his playoff career, Jokic has averaged 25, 10, and 6. JJ said, last year against Golden State, top 2 defense, he dropped 31, 13, and 6 on 57% shooting. That's insane. But what really stands out to Redick is what often gets overlooked. Jokic has done all this without a single all-star teammate. Sure, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon are talented, but Jokic is the engine. He's the one making them better. There are ways to measure it, JJ said. He's making everyone around him better, and he's been doing it for years. In a league dominated by highlight reels and hot takes, Nikola Jokic is quietly building a resume that's louder than words. It's not flashy. It's just facts. Even Julius Erving's Dr. J himself had to give credit where it was due. A Sixers legend and one of the game's original high flyers, Irving is naturally loyal to Philadelphia. You'd expect him to ride for Joel Embiid in any MVP debate. After all, they've appeared in commercials together, and Embiid was leading the Sixers through one of their most promising eras. But when asked about the MVP race between Embiid and Jokic, even Dr. J had to keep it real. "I'm hopeful that Embiid wins it," Irving said. "He does talk about it's one of those carrots he's reaching for. But I think the most deserving guy is Jokic. The reason? Reliability and consistency. He hasn't missed any games. Night in, night out, he's been better than he was last year, and he was MVP last year. When you improve on an MVP season, you shouldn't lose your status. Not if it's a fair fight." Sure, Irving still roots for his guy. "I'm going to pull for Embiid because he's my guy," he said. "And Giannis, who knows how he'll finish the year." But both Embiid and Antetokounmpo had missed weeks of action. Jokic, he showed up every night and delivered. Coming from Dr. J, that's not just respect, that's validation. Up next, Another voice from the golden ear, one of the toughest, smartest, and most fearless point guards the game has ever seen. The leader of the Bad Boys, Isaiah Thomas. The former Detroit Pistons star is a huge admirer of Nikola Jokic game. Thomas himself was known for being one of the most crafty and shifty guards during his time. But more than just his quickness and moves, Zeke was a fierce competitor who gave everything he had to help his team succeed. Many basketball fans remember his legendary performance in the 1988 NBA Finals, a showcase of skill and heart. What Isaiah appreciates most about Jokic isn't just his skills, but his brilliant basketball mind. He says Jokic's fundamentals are flawless, but what really sets him apart is how he pairs those fundamentals with his high basketball IQ. It's rare to see such a combination in today's game. Isaiah broke down a particular play that perfectly shows what he means. Near the end of a close game, Jokic sets a high screen for his guard, which is a pretty standard move. But instead of rolling straight to the basket like most big men do, Jokic does something different. He rolls behind the defender, slipping into a sweet spot called the pocket. From this perfect position, he can catch the ball with space and take an open shot. Most big men crash the rim. Jokic finds the open space, reads the defense, and makes the smart play. It's subtle, but it changes the game. Isaiah Thomas calls it a lesson in fundamentals, a mix of skill, timing, and basketball IQ. And other legends agree. Jokic isn't just good, he's rewriting the role of a big man. 2 MVPs, triple-doubles like clockwork, and still getting better. Enjoy the show. Greatness like this doesn't come around often.